Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here to break down the 3-game NBA main slate on Monday. If you are new to the channel, welcome. I make content for Draftkings, for Prize Picks, which is the sponsor of this video, and for NBA Top Shot. Again, sponsors Prize Picks. If you're not familiar with Prize Picks, it is a player prop site. A lot of different ways you can play. I've been making videos on Prize Picks. I've been doing extremely well. I think we're like 13 of the last 15 or something like that. I'll have a video up after this for the Prize Pick board as well, if that's something that interests you. But again, if you're a first-time user, you can use my code DKDFS for a 100% match up to $100. And again, guys, if you are looking for more in-depth content for DFS, I do offer that on patreon.com. We've had a really, really solid start to the playoffs. And I do also offer USFL package, which we had TJ Logan. Also, unfortunately, I pivoted to Quincy Poindexter because the whole field was, and that was a mistake. But I have a stack going in that late game, and it's going to be played tomorrow. So, again, I cover USFL, NBA, and esports. If you're interested in any of those packages, you can check out my Patreon linked down below. But like I said, we've had some really, really big nights. So I'll just go over a couple. I just want to shout out a few big ones here. King Me with, I think he won like, it's a little bit hard to see from here, but I think he won like over $4,000 off of like $100. He had a sweat in the big tournament for a while, but still a massive night. Another big night here for Chard. He's been on fire. He turned $42 into $550. Can't beat that ROI. She was a chicken. Yeah. Crowder, we'll get to that, but solid night all around for a lot of us. So hope you guys had a good night as well. And let's now look at my lineup before we talk about this 3-game slate. Jay Crowder. Just take a look at his box score. Last 5 games or so. 23, 25, 15, 30, 27. No, sure, right? Not a super high usage guy, but all around, do-it-all guy. Can contribute in a lot of different ways. Can knock down some corner threes. I just needed an average game from him for a takedown. 1 point, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 block. That's it. I mean, I literally could produce more on the court than Jay Crowder in that game. 5 fantasy points. Really? How many? I mean, I think he played like 30 minutes. Let me see. What did he finish with minutes-wise? Just an average game from Jay Crowder, right? Just give me 20. 20 and I'm happy. 28 minutes. 5 fantasy points. Tony Snell-esque performance there from Crowder. Unreal, but still another 4X night. Back-to-back 4X nights, so can't really complain, but again, you got to take advantage and win those tournaments when you have a chance. And yeah, I think an average game from Crowder here, and I'm right up, 19 points back at first. He finished with 5, so like give me an average game, and I'm right there. Also was very, very tilted about Kyle Lowry, on pace for 40+ easily. He had 33.5 through 3 quarters. Massive blowout. Doesn't touch the court in the 4th quarter. Seth Curry also started very hot. I swear, I watched that game. He should have had like 3 or 4 steals, and they didn't count any of it. They just gave like Kyrie had like 20 steals. They just gave them all to Kyrie. But yeah, I went back to the well on a couple guys to let people down as massive chalk, and you saw the ownership drop big time. So, for example, Seth Curry was very, very popular the other day when there's, not much value. So my question is to the people, what changed, right? Other than Seth Curry couldn't hit the broadside of a barn last game. You have to have short-term memory. Again, I knew the ownership would be very low on him because he burned a lot of people. He wasn't great. He was, I mean, nothing crazy, but why the ownership dropped that much, right? The value wasn't great. Obviously, we had 50% Jay Crowder go for 5 fantasy points. So, and then also another guy, Jonas Valanciunas, which we talked about a lot. Talked about how I really like those Pelicans guys. I wasn't worried about his minutes getting slashed here because of the matchup, right? Suns are a big team. So I knew we were getting normal minutes of Valanciunas. Can we also talk about his shooting performance? He shot like 4 of 20, and he still went for 54 fantasy points. I mean, an average shooting game from JV, he goes for 70 in this spot. So, another thing I was really hammering home on Patreon, I love the 2 mid-range guys in the I love the 2 Boston mid-range guys, Horford and Smart. Now, obviously, Smart was very popular. Horford, on the other hand, not so much. 18% ownership. I liked the balanced build here. Ingram, I needed CJ there, not Ingram, so I picked the wrong other Pelican. It was CJ that took over. I think CJ finished like 50 plus fantasy points. Ingram just kind of stood in the court in the fourth quarter. Pretty tilting to watch that as well when, you're close to the big money. Chris Paul was absolutely massive. Half the field faded him, 64 fantasy points. An absolute smash there for Chris Paul, but Crowder, man. Crowder. But, hey guys, that's it for the look back. Again, hope you guys had a good night yourself. And let's talk about this 3-game slate. So the most interesting team to talk about here is Toronto. On the road, and they have 3 main rotation players out or not expected to play. Scotty Barnes, doubtful. Gary Trent Jr., also doubtful. Thaddeus Young, doubtful. So you already have a tight rotation for Toronto. I mean, I'm not kidding. You might see 48 minutes from Siakam, Van Fleet, and like 45 from OG or something like that. So as far as the top end guys go, you're just going to get absolutely massive minutes here for both. So Siakam and Van Fleet, I think Van Fleet's a little bit easier to get to. He does have that shooting guard eligibility. Plus, he's like almost $2,000 cheaper. Van Fleet did not have the best game last game and fouled out pretty early in the fourth. Like, he was on pace for like 44 minutes or something. So like, he fouled out like very early in the fourth quarter. So I like both Siakam and Van Fleet here, and I think OG Anunoby is a very safe play in the mid-range. Played 32 minutes last game. He's going to have to play all the minutes he can handle. So the main guys for Toronto look really, really good. And I think you have to look to these value options too now for Toronto. So my boy, Chris Boucher, only 4.4K. Also, fouled out in 15 minutes. But you look at the roster, there's not many guys left that Toronto has confidence in to play. And we have seen throughout the regular season, when 2 of the main guys are out for Toronto, it's Boucher that shifts into the starting lineup. So if we get Chris Boucher starting here at 4-4, I think he's going to stand out as one of the best values in the slate. Also, Precious Achiuwa actually defended Embiid pretty well. Played 29 minutes last game too. I think he plays huge minutes. I really, really like Boucher and Achiuwa. I think they're going to play huge minutes in this game. No Thad Young, too. I think Kem Birch will be in the rotation at 3.2. Now, he's obviously not as productive, but he probably sees like close to 20 minutes or so, maybe more. But yeah, it's really Boucher and Achiuwa that stand out. Now, as far as the rest of the rotation goes, I don't know, because you're obviously getting big minutes from Siakam, Van Fleet, and OG. I think you probably get around like 30 or so minutes from Boucher and Achiuwa, maybe a little bit more. Kem Birch will play off the bench. Is it Yuta Goat Nabe season? I think Watanabe could be in the rotation, or like one of like Malachi Flynn or Amani Brooks. I don't know who they would go to, like Flynn versus Brooks. But I think one of those guys will probably be in the rotation as well. Maybe you see a little bit of Svi Mikhailuk, possibly. But really, you're going to see huge minutes for the main guys here for Toronto. So definitely a team I really like on this small slate. On the Philadelphia side, I'm still in immense pain from the previous night when I had Embiid and Jokic just both go for subpar games. Again, like decent games from both, and I take down the previous night too. So been close back-to-back nights. But yeah, Embiid played 37 minutes and got pulled in the blowout. He would have played about 40. I'm fine going right back. He had a subpar shooting game, and just everyone else on the team went off besides Embiid. So, I mean, James Harden had a really solid game. He's going to play huge minutes. I think he looks pretty good as well at 9-3. He didn't have the best shooting game, but you're going to see massive usage for Harden and Embiid. And you saw big games for both Tobias and Maxey. Again, everyone smashed besides Embiid. Now, with Tobias and Maxey, we know Philadelphia is going to run a tight rotation. So these two are going to play big minutes. I think they're fair options in the mid-range. I would be, though, a little bit hesitant. Don't expect those type of performances again from Tobias and Maxey. I think both performances were definitely outliers. I think they're solid options, but you're not going to get like close to 50 fantasy points every single night from Harris and from Maxey. Now the bench here from Philadelphia, I mean, Milton will probably play, I don't know, 10 to 15 minutes. At that price point, can't do it. Doc Rivers actually made the correct decision. For once in his life, he played Paul Reed as the backup 5. That's the correct move in this series. You do not have the dust of DeAndre Jordan touch the court. But yeah, Paul Reed, he's not going to play enough minutes unless Embiid gets into foul trouble. Niang is 3-3. He played 16 minutes. Again, a little bit hard to go there. Thibault, Danny Green, these are guys that probably see okay run, but neither are high usage guys. Like maybe around 20 minutes for both. I don't think it's necessary. Really focusing more on the main guys here for Philadelphia. All right, Utah and Dallas. So on the Utah side, once again, I think the main guys are a little bit underpriced. And Mitchell and Gobert. You saw 42 minutes of Mitchell. He did not have the best shooting game, shot 10 of 29, and still went for 52 fantasy points. So he seems underpriced. I think Gobert is very safe. A shot one time, really. I took his over. So I got the over right on both Dallas guards on Prize Picks. The one guy I got wrong was Gobert. One shot attempt, he finished under his fantasy points by a couple. One. But yeah, Gobert's going to play like mid-30s minutes. I think he looks like a safe option. Now, Bogdanovic saw a huge minutes bump, right? He played 40 minutes. So that is pretty significant, right? Like, Bogdanovic for a good stretch was playing like 30 to 35 minutes. If we're going to get close to 40 minutes, he is underpriced at 5.7K. Conley, I also think, is very safe at 5'6". Expect him to play mid-30s minutes. Didn't have the best game, but he's probably not going to kill you. Clarkson feels a little bit pricey. Also only played 20 minutes. Would rather go to Clarkson or rather go to Conley or Bogdanovic for a little bit more. Whiteside did play a little bit more than I thought. He played 13 minutes. He'll be productive when he's on the court. He's in play for tournaments. But again, don't expect huge minutes there. And then Royce O'Neal. Like I said, he's going to play big minutes. He played 31 minutes last game. He's probably not going to do much offensively, but he'll be on the court for a while, so he's playable. Now, on the Dallas side, I'm not sure what Draftkings is doing with the price points. I mean, this didn't move Brunson and Dinwiddie. They're still underpriced. Both these guys should be like 8K or 8K plus. You have Brunson at 7.2, played 41 minutes. Obviously, Luka Doncic not expected to play, so you're just going to get massive usage for both Dinwiddie and Brunson. So I like them both a lot once again. They both have shooting guard eligibility, which is nice as well. You also saw Dorian Finney-Smith and Reggie Bullock played 44 minutes each. Dallas ran an insanely tight rotation. Now, with Bullock and Dorian Finney-Smith, neither are productive, but if you're going to give me 45 minutes again, then sure. I think they're obviously playable value options. Dwight Powell at 4.7 is just too pricey. We also saw Dallas try to go small against Utah and go to Kleba at the 5. So I'd be more inclined to take a shot in Kleba, played 24 minutes. At 3.8K, does have the power forward eligibility, again, about $1,000 cheaper than Powell. And then you did see a little bit of Bertans and Josh Green in the rotation, but not enough for me to consider them. Final game is Denver and Golden State. Again, Jokic, massive blowout. Still hurting from last night, but he's going to play close to 40 minutes. And you cannot play Boogie Cousins, right? You have to play Jokic as many minutes as you can handle. So, yeah, I think Jokic looks really good here at the top if you have the salary. The mid-range guys look good too. Like Gordon, Barton, and Morris are all going to play huge minutes. Aaron Gordon, 6K, should play like mid-30s minutes. Didn't have the best game last game. You did see a pretty solid game from Will Barton, who went for 40 fantasy points. And then Monty Morris was solid as well. He played 31. So all three of those main guys, I think, are definitely in play. Bones Highland at 4.5 did only see 17 minutes, so more of a GPP-only option. Again, you did see Cousins in the rotation. He played more than I thought, and then he got ejected. I mean, if I knew Cousins was going to play 15 minutes, I would play him. But if Mike Malone was smart, he would play Boogie like 6 to 8 minutes, or like maybe even have him out of the rotation and play JaMychal Green as the backup 5. Jeff Green, another one of his gross values. He's probably playing 25 minutes. He's probably getting at 15 fantasy points. It's just kind of there. Austin Rivers will also be in the rotation. I just cannot stomach rostering Austin Rivers, though. There's just no way. And then JaMychal Green at 3-2. Again, we'll be in like they're just I don't love anyone on the bench for Denver. And finally, Golden State. So was really interesting what Steve Kerr did there with Steph Curry. He originally was started, then moved to the bench, and said he was only using him in 6-minute spurts. So he played 22 minutes in the blowout. Probably would have played like 25. Keep an eye on the news here. If they're going to run a similar limit to Steph Curry, I have no interest in him. If he's full go, then obviously you can consider him in tournaments. And then Poole and Thompson, kind of monitor the Steph news. If Steph is once again pretty limited, then you can consider both Poole and Thompson. But again, they definitely don't have as high of a ceiling when Steph plays. And it just depends on, again, how many minutes does Steph play. Draymond, I think, is a pretty safe play. He played 29 minutes last game. Probably would have played about 32 or so if the game would have stayed competitive. Obviously, he's a guy that can contribute in a lot of different ways. So I think he's a very safe option. Wiggins had a solid game last game, too. I would just rather go to Draymond, though, at a similar price point. So not a big fan of Wiggins. Otto Porter will be in the rotation at 4-5. He probably plays, 25 or so minutes. He didn't do much last game, but if we continue to see like mid-20s minutes from Otto Porter, he can have a ceiling game at this price point. Kuminga only played in garbage time. Don't play him. Bjelica played a little bit off the bench. I guess he's in consideration for value. Looney surprisingly only played 13 minutes. Golden State went small. He wasn't really in foul trouble. I mean, he played well when he was on the court, but they went more small ball. And then you did see a little bit of run for Gary Payton at 3-4. He played 20 minutes last game. Playable value. Same with Iguodala. I mean, he's complete dust, but he'll probably play about 15 or so minutes. So, yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the video. Again, if you do enjoy the YouTube videos, just make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Really appreciate all the new subscribers, guys. And be on the lookout for that prize pick video, which I'll have up after this. But thanks again. Have a great one, and I'll see you all in the next video.